Whether you're a streamer, a gamer, or a next-level achiever, upgrading faster is now 5G possible. Experience ultra-fast speeds only with the widest range of Globe 5G devices. Only with G-Plan.
Right now. On my. Hi guys, welcome back. So today is our scheduled cooking stream for the week. So today we will be cooking chicken tikka masala with naan bread. So wait a minute. We will be there will be an array of spices that are dried and some that are not dried. So, but first, let us aside from the chicken, no, we'll be making our own garam masala. So, I found this. So before, I think the recipe that is uploaded in YouTube. No, before that, sorry, I didn't introduce myself. I'm Big Chef Time Kitchen and welcome to our stream. So today, of course, watch and enjoy. But if you like, you can support our channel by buying us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/nitolito. Also, you can support us by subscribing and following our Twitch, and of course, subscribing to our YouTube channel where we will be uploading our past past lives and also past lives past live streams and highlights from other gaming content and other cooking content. So without further ado, here's my big arm. So before we check if our yeast is alive for the naan, so we have prepared sugar water here because we don't have milk. We don't have warm milk. So I will just be putting some of the yeast. So it's a liberal amount of yeast. There we go. Just to cover the top. And let's see if it bubbles in the next few minutes. So these can go back to storage. So we will be using the dried herbs. So 10 seconds delay. Transition. Ano yan? Delayed yan. Parang ano siya? Parang kulang siya ng... Sobra siya ng 5 seconds. So we will be using this dry one. So will first be... these are coriander seeds. So we will be roasting them in a hot pan. Bakit nag-transition na sa akin sa hindi? So also we will be using other dry herbs. So if you're making garam masala, you also need cumin. So I have cumin seed powder. So we're using that directly. We'll be roasting that along with our coriander seeds and the little coriander florets for more smokiness. Then we will be using these for the heat. So it's chili and cayenne pepper powder. Then we'll also be adding some turmeric, and I am almost out of Spanish paprika and couldn't find any in the supermarket earlier, so we will be getting the most out of this one. So anyway, and also we'll be putting a little bit of cinnamon, just a little bit. Then for the fresh ingredients, aside from the chicken, which is on this kitchen sink, we will be using our half-dried chilies from last week. So, and also of course garlic, ginger. Then for the stir fry, so we will be stir frying our garam masala mixture, and we will be stir frying it with just onions and for our meat. So our marination would involve Greek yogurt and some lemons. So and part of the garam masala as well. So we also have garlic powder here. So with that, I think we can start. So since we started reviving the yeast already, it'll bubble I think in the heat of the light in about 10 to 15 minutes. So let's first prepare our our fresh ingredients. Yeah, Greek yogurt because I like the flavor more than the basic yogurt. And also, of course, you can have the tikka masala sauce without a tomato sauce and coconut cream. So this will be cooked in with our garam masala mixture. So let's start first with prepper for this. So let's just put them in one bowl. So I'm going to put them in one bowl. So aside from preparing our garam masala, I am also chopping up some garlic so that we can have our own homemade garlic butter, which will be used later for our naan. So I think a rough chop would be enough for these because honestly, it would be passing them through a food processor anyway. So there we go. These can go inside your food processor bowl already, so they can just wait for the dry things to roast. So hi Elsie, hi Herschel. How's your how's your Wednesday? Ano yung work niya kasi may konting tawag dito. For him daw, our Sundays are his Tuesdays. Our Saturdays are his Tuesdays. So ayun. So we've actually done this recipe before. Work, 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 and being a pillow slash sheet for the kitty. Oh, pag ikaw nag-work from home ka, ganun ka rin eh. So when my wife is usually working, she's also a cushion for all four, interchangeably. So at times, one will go up on a laptop, or one would go up the very tall, what do you call this? Very tall cabinet to just look at and judge everyone. You're a little soft today, Southwise. I think I should put in some more gain for our mic because it's very far away. It was set up actually beside me on my right side, on my left side. So I think maybe we can put in some gain. Put some effects first. So let's just drag this down. Filters. So our gain is right about there. Can you hear me clearly now, or is it too loud? I think the gain is too much. I have to set it down a little bit. Okay, that's too much. That's too much. Is this better or worse? Okay, I think I can get the proper settings right here. I think it's a good uh, 11.2 to 12 will work. Does this work for you? Why is it leaving? Is it leaving again? No, it's not. Here you go. Is it okay? Can you hear me better now? Okay, I should eat in advance before watching your cooking stream. No, you should eat with us later. So we are just chopping up some garlic so that we can have the food processor do the work for us. Just small chunks. So just like that. same for the ginger. So we want a heck of a lot of ginger and a lot of garlic here. So we are leaving maybe about 4 cloves or 3 cloves for our garlic butter. So checking our timer, I think we are at 5 minutes in counting for the yeast. So I need to check them after 5 more minutes. Though I think it's blooming nicely already. It's already bubbling. It's already eating the sugar. Yeah, and it smells like yeast. So a little bit more. And when it blooms, we can start with the naan. So how was your weekend? Musika, how was your weekend? How was your stream? So aside from this, we will be aside from these vegetables, I think we won't be needing to prep anything else. So after we knead the dough a little bit and let it rest, we will be actually I was thinking since I use the fun from the chicken to bolster the sauce. I think I will be cooking it in the wok, in the same wok as where I will be cooking the sauce. But I will be doing the naan bread on a cast iron pan. So we still get to see the cast iron pan. So just this guys, tapos three I think are not good. One more. Also brush properly. Okay. And after this, we start with the garlic for the garlic butter. So we already pre-softened the butter by letting it stand in a room temperature for 30 minutes or more. So this is good. And we can go with the rice. We'll be doing the garlic butter here. So this will only just be using a little. Hope we can finish it in time for your dinner so that we can eat together. So hello everyone, hello Musika, hello Eds, hello Poe. And I don't have the option to see the ones lurking. So hello to everyone. So if you're liking this kind of content and you're new to the channel, you can of course follow our channel here on Twitch and on our YouTube channel where we uploaded an old version of this one. So in the old version we used a powdered, I think we used the leaves, just the leaves. We didn't have they call this, we didn't have coriander seeds back then. So I hope you check it out. It's just I think a 5-minute video or less. So it's an easy watch. But of course, nothing beats live. So let's prepare our garlic for our garlic butter. So let's do a fine dice for this. Let's just have it a little fine. To boost yourself and chef, make sure you toss him a host even if it's just you. Thank you, Paul. Thank you for the great advice. We actually have a lot of people in the streaming group. So there's I think Zom Cookie is also active. He's from one of my past. Actually, most of them are from one of my past game groups. So it's more of a Ragnarok it's from Ragnarok Online from around 2005 towards the end of 2011. So although I quit after 2009, I think. And they kept playing the new servers. Let's expose all those juices so that it can go into the butter. So our plan for the butter is to spread it on the naan bread once it's cooked. Once it's bubbling already. So I think that does it for the garlic. So next up we are doing chili. So I want to add a little more spice. So I'm adding the seeds from this partially dried chili. So this is the endemic Pinoy long chili. I was planning to dry it further, but now's the day of chicken tikka masala, so we use them partially dry. So next and last, before we what we call this bruise and roast our herbs, dried herbs, is ginger. So I think it'll be a harder time because we got the smaller kind. So we just want to get as much of the skin off and get it to food processor manageable sizes so that we can get regular, because I want this to be to have a little more texture than the usual garam masala mix, because if you're just using the prepackaged garam masala, you're getting just the powder. So unlike that, this will be more robust in a sense. So just a few slices like that and put it in. If we leave some skin, it's okay. It's washed already. And it's a little bit bone dry. So no gooey stuff. Yeah, that's a good way to to spread the news and help everyone, including your account. I'm already actually hosting most of you guys. Still a good thing to raid randomly. So before I think I raided some of you na rin. And you of course raided me. Thank you for the raids. So we are just getting a little bit of difficulty with this very persistent ginger. Okay, so let's just slice them up. So the thing I don't like about garlic is it gets sticky at times. So it's very uncomfortable to slice things after that. So I think I'm gonna wash up before we proceed with the chicken. So we're slicing the chicken because we just got it filleted, but not sliced. So we'll get it to smaller sizes so that we can cook it easier. So we are also doing a marinade for that, but we need our garam masala mix first. So we're doing this first. So after this, we'll be checking on our yeast, which is bubbling pretty nicely. So it was stuck, I think, in our cabinet for almost a year already, because I haven't baked in quite a while. Haven't baked pizza in quite a while. Bakit? Yung friend? Oo. Parang yan yata yung pagkagalingan ng awon eh. Ilang episodes na natitira? Right. Pride said, can you just die? Thanks, Eds. So, I think that's around enough ginger. So, we'll be adding one more sprig and we're good. Actually, I don't mind. I don't mind this skin. Although, this is a pretty old piece of ginger. I think it's about a week old already since we used it last time during the tinola. Also, you can watch the tinola episode while it's still up. So we did chicken tinola in behalf of Poetic Wine, who's right here in the chat. Under his guidance and suggestions. So we enjoyed it, every single bit of it. So we did, but sadly I had to blasphemize the kinilaw a little because after that, I think we ate the kinilaw 2 days after na. So it's a little bit intense. So I had to blasphemize it down to more gentler flavors. Still good. Still good. So let's just get our trash and put it inside our trash bag because that's where trash belongs. Okay, so let's do the onions next. So again, we're being practical in doing everything in order so that we don't have to wash and rewash. So that we still get a ton of washings afterwards. Uy, nagbe-bake mac si Eds. Wow. Ingit ako. Ipopost din ako ng Bake Mac next time. Sige, go, go. See you later. Okay. So, I want a fine dice for our onions because I want to saute them very fast. I want them to finish agad. Kasi it's Pinoy style and I don't know if Casey, Kitchen Confidence, although I think in the Discord Casey is Kitchen Confidence is gonna try Jollibee in a few weeks or I think next week, I'm not sure. He's gonna try it. So he said he's curious with our Pinoy style spaghetti, which is the sweet kind. But there's people in the chat who are quite resistant to that preference. Well, honestly, the this the spaghetti from Jollibee is a little bit of acquired taste for foreigners, but for us, it's guilty pleasure as adults. Yeah, we get slightly rough dice so that it survives the saute process without being too, but it's fast enough so that we don't have to caramelize it that long. So yeah, there we go. I was planning to put in I think two, but I settled with just one big sweet a yellow one. There is actually not much in terms of vegetables when it's tikka masala. But if it's say the Japanese kind of curry, I think there's potato, carrots, and I'm not sure what else. But that's the typical ones I see, potato and carrots. So more like a stew like, but not really because they cook the sauce separately. So this is another version of actually tikka masala. Chicken tikka masala is not really Indian thing because Indians, especially those who are based in India, obviously, are I think around 70 or 85% Hindu. So they really don't eat meat. So the garam masala there is mostly just vegetables in the sauce and you put the naan in the sauce. So which is a far cry from what we're doing right now, which we will be cooking chicken. And there's hair on my hand. There you go. Okay, with just the raw power of the way to the knife. There you go. And slice. I'm just gonna collect the pieces that had fallen into the ground because there are cats and I don't want to poison my cats. So that's one of our morbid facts for today. Onions are very poisonous to cats. So please be careful. Okay, let's put them in the bowl. So next we're addressing the chicken. But before that, let us check the bloom from our yeast. It's just So our bloom is it's bubbling already at a good rate. So we are 100% sure that our yeast is alive. So after a few more minutes, we'll be mixing our one of our containers of yogurt. So this one will be going into a marinade for the chicken. So this one will be going into the bread. So exactly 1 cup. 1 cup of this, just this one. And a little bit more water. So we will be getting flour. So we will be just liberally putting in flour. So naan is actually, let me check if it's flour first. Yeah, it is flour, I think. Let me- Yes, it is. So let's just put the rest here. So we are looking at, I think, around 4 to 5 servings of naan bread. I think we can save half of this since it's not that much. So with that we put actually I want to put a little bit of garlic here, so that it lends more flavor to that. Okay, and we don't salt. We don't put salt here. Unlike the usual breads, we will be putting our. We have to mix this first. For a person who doesn't really eat yogurt, as is, I am kind of slightly obsessed with recipes that involve yogurt. So we want to achieve a dough. So half is good. We won't be making much. So there. Every single living organism here is thriving. And let's put a little bit more water. So we'll be adding more later. For now, this will be. It's actually suggested that we need, but I think mixing it first would do the trick just as much. And also a shout out to our friend from yesterday night's stream, Neo Stacy. Thank you for the follow. I hope you can join us in our future live streams. I think she's sleeping right now. So it's just incorporate it into a very shaggy dough. Excuse me. I turned away in time. Don't worry. So the shaggy dough is actually what we are looking for. So this is good. Then we start kneading it. Okay, shaggy dough is done. So let's get rid of our measuring cup that we didn't even measure at all. Okay, and okay, once this is good, we can now knead to incorporate. So it's a little bit wet, but that's just right. Okay, and the spoon can go here first. Now we fold so that we can incorporate every single one of the fibers and develop some gluten, because we want a very good mass of gluten for this one. So we are also gonna rest it in a warmer place as compared to here, so that we can develop the gluten faster. I know we can rest the gluten faster, so it will be a little tougher. But that's the usual texture of naan bread. So that I think that's what we want to achieve. So let's fold like this, and we have to fold this for at least I think about 5 to 10 minutes. Liwanag ba, bird? So every shaggy piece will go on top while we fold it in. So it's actually better if you do this standing up. So I'll be standing up. So we need our leverage and the pushing power to push it in when we are folding. So no need to rush when you are kneading a dough like this. We are stopping once we reach a very smooth outer edge for the dough and putting it in saran wrap on an oil. So we will be oiling this one, this bowl. So yeah, we are actually getting to the smooth part already. I am starting to feel the smoothness coming in. So if you can see, there is no more shagginess there. So just a little more, a few more kneads. So I think around 1 minute, 5 minutes more of kneading, then we can have it rest for about 50 minutes to an hour. So if you're resting dough, if you want it to be to have those small bubbles, so when they acts, if you want the smaller bubbles, you have, especially if you want smaller bubbles for say those for pizza, it's better to have them cold rest in a fridge for maybe half a day instead of having them proof in warmer weather, because it tends to the cold tends to slow the process, so you get smaller bubbles. For this one, I want bigger bubbles. That's why we are rushing it and putting it in a warm place. Not warm enough to kill the piece, but warm enough to, what do you call this? To have those very strong and very big gluten strands without resting the dough too much. So I am getting resistance now. So if you see, it's already springing back. So a little more to do the trick, and we will be oiling this guy. Okay. So we have developed enough gluten to last us to up to later, so that we can prepare our naan bread. Okay. I can feel the table straining already. Okay. Let's just round this up. And grab every single piece of dough left. And there you go. It is ready for proofing. So, to know if you're ready for proofing already, it has to resist that one. So it springs back, just like that. So if you press, it springs back. It fights back. So the dough is alive. Okay, next part, we oil, then we wash it. So any cheap grade, low grade olive oil would do. We just don't want it to stick. And we want it to grow properly for the next 30 minutes to half an hour. No, 30 minutes to 1 hour, sorry. So we just oil the pan, we just spin it around. Okay. And if you have, say, pan cover that's enough to cover your proofing pot, then you can do so. so that it can breathe. So I actually have one pot lid that's about this size. So we'll be putting it somewhere a little warmer and far away from the air conditioning. Lagay ko na dito. So let's wash our hands and we will be prepping the chicken. So prepping means we are gonna slice it into strips so that it can marinate properly. Ah. So next we'll be doing our garlic butter first. So it's actually quite easy. It's just garlic and butter. So you just need uh, room temperature butter that's soft and put it into the garlic. If you want, you can add coriander leaves. But me, I'm good with that. And I think I have to put it in the freezer first because we're cooking a little bit later. So you don't want watery butter. So freezer it is. So this guy needs some salt because it's unsalted butter. A little pepper and that's it. We just mix and knead the garlic into our soft butter and put it in the fridge a little bit later. So it tastes better if you aerate it more. So you can mix it, give it a little more violence in when mixing. So after that, we will stick it in the freezer, ref, sorry. So we are sticking it in the ref to set. So it's already done. So when we do our garlic naan, we have something to spread it on. There. Okay, chickens next. I think I want a deeper container for them. So I'm putting it in one of the deep bowls. If you're slicing chicken, it's better if you, especially here in the Philippines, if you're buying chicken off, say the groceries or public markets, it's best practice to wash it off before you cook. But if you're getting a stock from a high end market, then I don't think you need to wash them anymore. You just don't want to get rid of all that moisture because chicken thrives on moisture. So we are getting around this size of medallions and putting it on the side. So I am already feeling that the knife is less sharper than it was before we did last week's episode. So we, for slicing of these kinds of delicate cuts, we slice it on the dry side and push or pull depending on what knife you're using. We are not gonna push it like so because we don't want to crush the meat fibers, and you'll get a very mushy chicken after cooking. So not a plus. Ano ko sa'yo? Let's leave the bone there. There's a little bit of leftover bone. So if you're processing your own meats, I think I can suggest you can watch the Epicurious ones, the Epicurious episodes for specialty meats like poultry, how to disassemble beef. They do a very in-depth job there, and that's actually where I learned how to disassemble a whole chicken. Disassemble, it's like a ano, no, skill model.
Next year, 5 season.
Oh, what if magka-issue si Kuya Guy? Di maka-cancel na naman. Tapos iba maging kalab team niya, hindi maging satisfying yung ending.
Feeling ko hindi talaga siya.
Pero sa bagay mo kung bait naman yun. Eh. Mukha lang talaga siyang gago. Basta when you're slicing things, don't ever be afraid of touching your knife. Because that's how you guide your knife, especially if you're slicing for more accurate cuts. So if you're going for accurate cuts, of course, pinch with your thumb and middle finger and guide the knife with your knuckle on the index finger. It gives you more precise cuts. And also, you should always cut either vertically or away from your hand so that you don't get your nails stuck in the edge. Because believe me, when you get your nail stuck in the edge and you get rid of that nail, takes about 6 months to recover. Mine took around I think 2.5 months just to grow back proper. I just to grow back to the proper length. But the discomfort of growing through. So since you will be getting scabs inside, it's hard to what do you call this? It's hard to manage. So it becomes uncomfortable at times. But you have to clean it. So that's an ordeal for another day. Let us finish our shopping and wash everything because it's chicken. We don't want chicken sauce, fresh chicken sauce from getting over everything we have here. So let us put them all on the stove. On the stove tuloy. On the sink. Because we don't need them anymore. Wipe it down before you go. There you go. Not as sharp, but still quite sharp. And scary. So we put this away. Don't need you anymore. And then until we cook again. So the table needs a good wipe down. So let's just get rid of everything, and we will be putting in the stove. Start with the cooking process. Our handy dandy and dirty stove. Say hello. Just wipe it out a bit. So today we are using our wok. We're using our wok to toast our herbs. So we will be toasting mostly just coriander seeds and leaves, and also the cumin. So we patted this dry, patted it down dry so that you don't get any stray formations. So we'll just go loosey-goosey and put a liberal amount of each. So FYI, we already have rice. We already cooked it earlier. I think it was yesterday, not earlier. So let's just put no, we have to heat it first, sorry. Around medium heat. So induction stoves are very fast in doing this, so let's prep for that event. So we are actually going straight into paste instead of going to powder then to paste. So we are loading this up with what do you call this? Olive oil. So it's getting as hot as you want. Put these guys here. Then next we put our coriander leaves. Have to work fast. And our cumin seeds. There we go. So we are actually not out. We have to still have a whole, bottle of cumin seeds. So we can add a little more until it's gone. So we put it on a tougher fire. And we just flip it. can actually smell it off gassing already. You don't need them to pop, you just need them to be roasted properly. So on heat for a few seconds, then off and stir. You're actually gonna smell it if it's already ready. Already ready. Okay, I think we're almost done. It's not yet burnt, but we are getting those little hints of roastiness there. So a little bitter and a little intense flavor. So we are turning it off and doing some more flips before we put it in our food processor. So we just get the last remnants that's sticking to the pan. Then it's a little bit of the smell of the popcorn. So it's actually very welcoming. So we tamp. This is a very good non-stick pan. And we just put no. There you go. Whatever is left here will be used eventually later when we start cooking. Let's put that to the side. Okay. So this we can add. We are adding actually more. So we are adding turmeric just a little bit to give it a more color. So my turmeric is actually dry already. So I have to scrape. There you go. You don't want too much cumin because it will color the dish too much. And of course, pepper. We want it fine, so we pre-grind it before we regrind. And of course, salt. The salt is more of a flavor intensifier than anything else. So then we add our negligible amount of paprika. So we're just fresh out and can't find any in the supermarkets. But we are using paprika mostly for the color and the smokiness. But we can also get the smokiness from our other herbs. So it's quite replaceable in a sense. Then we put just a little smidge of cinnamon because cinnamon is a very strong flavored herb. I think that's it. We can pre-grind it first so that we get finer grinds later. So it's gonna dry first, so we can see we're going to the cats aren't actually liking this, so I'm running. So then we add our garlic powder and the spices. So pump first because we don't want to waste any. So we put our cayenne. Just taking a while to open this cap. There you go. And let's put more spice. We want more spice. So cayenne peppers and chili powder. Favorite mo to? Hala, maingit ka ngayon, LC. So, okay. So, our spices actually help color our tikka masala also. So, we'll be using half of this mixture. Let's just integrate it enough so that we can put in the olive oil. And one more step. Better to go dry first, then wet after. So let's put in our olive oil, a liberal amount. Hi, Chun. And I want to color this more, so I am adding more turmeric. There you go. Okay, so that's a lot of turmeric. And I think this would be the last grind before we switch over. Sorry about that. Ayan. We actually want it more juicy, so we get more oil. If you prefer, you could use ghee also. Ghee is clarified butter. Clarified fermented butter. So I think we're just incorporating this by hand since the grinder has done most of the work. Let's get a very robust spoon. And just get everything on the cover into the sauce. Ano to, mas maanghang, LC, mas maanghang to kaysa dun sa mga last na batch. Nagdagan ko siya ng a little bit more spice. Let's just get the remnants on the side. Sayang naman. Then, we just mix. Mix and put it into a bowl so that we can conveniently use it later. So you can use the oil to wash the sides so that you can get the most out of the herbs that we prepared earlier. So this will be very intense, although very yellow compared to our past batches, because there's more turmeric than there is Spanish paprika. So those to actually balance the color really well. But since we're very low on paprika, I'm expecting a more yellowy to maybe a slight tint of orange by the time we are done cooking. Okay, so I think that's as much as we can get. Now we have to dip it in cold water already because we don't want it to develop the color of our turmeric. Okay, so next, so we set this aside and we actually need to marinate this. So we're getting half. So it's always half. We're getting half of this and putting it into the chicken. So I'm rotating it a bit. There we go. We're gonna get half. So if you can smell it, it smells so delicious. Put half. And the half we will be cooking later in butter. So we will saute it with the onions here. And we'll be putting in our marinade. So our marinade is actually it was supposedly just what do you call this? Garam masala and yogurt, but I saw in some of the recipes online that they use lemon. There was this iconic Indian cook in the UK. I think her name is Mudha Jeffrey. So she's the pioneer of the chicken tikka masala for UK. So the version in UK because there I think in India there is no chicken tikka masala. It's just tikka masala and that's it. Let's get every single ounce of this yogurt. That's not that's Greek, even though we're taking a trip to India. Just don't get the other flavored kinds. Don't get the strawberry. It would be very weird. The orange one though might work, although it's not really citric acid, so won't be as softening and tenderizing as say lemons. So we are actually putting in the rinds of the lemon as well. So it gives the scent of the lemon as well as the juice. So we are going to take it out later. It smells real nice. So you get a strainer because you don't want the seeds. There you go, it's a strainer. Let's return our this more pipes. So of course you need salt because this is after all a brine and pepper. Very generous amount. Oops. Sorry, I hit the camera. Sorry to the camera. So we will just put it on this on the other side so that we don't have to hold it. And we will be getting the lemon on the underside of the chicken. My hands are actually quite tired from the kneading, so I think I won't be pressing uh, the lemon that much. Okay, I got it. So when in doubt, you can punch the middle of the lemon so that you can get the juices out faster. Same reason why the juicers are designed that way. Okay, let's just put a little uh, rag under our arm so that we don't get any spatters from the lemon into the table or onto the table. Okay, let's get the other one. So just roll and open. And open. Okay. Uh, how's our 8 viewers going on so far? Are you enjoying our episode? We are just about to start marinating this chicken. So FYI, we actually got chicken thigh fillets. I think that's good. And let us get rid of this now. And wash. So we don't want other flavors getting into our other things. So let's just take this out. And put it also in the washer. So before we wash, we can mix. So we mix the garam masala mixture with our lemon and our yogurt. So they're gonna coalesce in a bit. So we want for the spread, we want this to be at least this kind of color before we leave it for brining. So it's recommended actually to brine it a day or so before, but for flavor wise, you can actually just leave it for 30 minutes or less. It depends on how intense you want the flavor because we are cooking the yogurt with the chicken anyway. So you just have to get the faces of all the chickens wet with the yogurt and tikka masala mix. Garam masala mix, sorry. So if we actually went dry grind earlier, we would get we would get garam masala. So garam masala is actually a very diverse term. Based on the research that I did and some of the videos I watched, especially that of Ninong Rai, one of the known cooking YouTubers here in the Philippines. So yeah, he actually did a good. He did justice to chicken tikka masala, and he went out with an Indian friend, so which is nice. A legit Indian friend who knows garam masala. So we just don't want those meaty edges out. We want them to be underneath all those yogurt, and let it act on its own. So let's just leave the spoon there and let us put it to the side. So we will now be looking at our. Actually, it would be. it can be an AMA. Since we are still waiting for our dough to proof. So for everyone, sorry, I just saw your chat merge in. Hello, my pants are warping quickly. Could it be from cooling them down too quickly? Can you advise? What pans are you using? Are you using very thin stainless steel, or are you using, say, carbon steel? What kind of pans are they? I didn't stretch. I will stretch like this. Thanks, Eds. Just stretching like this, I'm cheating. If you don't get to hear this, I'll just message you later. But if your pants are warping, it's either the material is very thin, so it's advisable not to wash them after just using them. So it's better to just leave them to cool on the stove. Or if you're using high end pans, say, actually you can get a high end pans. Even the mid end pans like this one. It's not that expensive, but it's thick. It's thick, very thick. I'll give it a close up. It's very thick like that. See? There you go. Please focus, focus. There you go. I think you can see it. It's very thick. So if you're using a thin stainless steel pans, it's advisable that you don't cool them that fast. It's better that you leave them on the stove unless you are using induction, because you might damage the hob. If you do, just leave them on maybe pan rest or on the countertop and let it just cool down. But if you're using induction and you're using a very thin pan, it tends to warp immediately when you use it, especially if you don't put anything on top, like say oil, or you don't put the thing you want to cook on top immediately. So if you don't do that, you might get a warped pan, or you might even burn your pan. I think that happened to the stock one for this, the free one for this hob. And that happened actually to every single hob that we had before. So it's actually better to get good pans for induction that are specifically designed for induction than getting getting a very cheap pan, because you're just gonna use it maybe a few times and it will break on you. So if you're investing on cooking equipment, especially if you as much as I think 3 or 4 times a day, if you do, it's better that you invest in a very good quality pan or quality or any kitchen equipment in general. You need to invest in a very good one so that you can cook longer with it. So I think we can look at our, it's 8:20, it's about 30 minutes from the last time we saw our dough. So it has expanded a little bit, not too much though, but it has expanded a little bit, just a little bit. So I think we are ready to slice it up into 4. No, I want to give it more time. So I think 10 to 15 minutes is enough for this one to go bigger. So let's just get rid of that issue right there. We are using cast iron to cook our naan. So if binging with Babish has his tiny, what do you call this? Tiny whisk, we have our tiny rolling pin, which is actually great. You don't get the weight of the rolling pins for bigger pastry and bigger bread. So it's good for making naan, making pita, making the short breads, making, and the smaller breads and the thinner ones. Focaccia also. It's good for focaccia. Let's say if you're making more, say I'm not sure what other bread. If you're making uh, if you're making sourdough, of course you'll be using a lot more shoulder power than kneading, and then rolling pins. Put this here, and we lubricate it with our olive oil. Again, just a little bit, not too much. So we are cooking the chicken here because we want the other pan to develop the what to call it fond from the Maillard reaction, so that we can mix it into the sauce. Okay, so it's in the center already. I think we are golden with this one. So let's just put this away. Don't need to anymore for the foreseeable future. So if you don't have the like me, if you don't have the what do you call this bench knife for scraping you know, just scraping knife for uh pastry, you can always choose to use this as long as it's flat, and you can liberally coat it with oil. You can use it for uh, parting stuff. So let's put a little oil on tissue so that we can lube this one. Let's just lube this so that it doesn't stick. Lube talaga yan. And let's slice it in between. So I think you heard the popping in between. It's the bubbles that we develop. So I think we can do force. Yeah, we can. Okay. So we're done with that. Let me get rid of this. Since it's still lubricated, we can roll it properly. Just need to get this cast iron pan warm enough to the point that it can sear our naan bread immediately. So let's get the butter out. The butter is doing very nice. It's properly salted and it's good to go. So let's prep a plate for our naan bread. So let's put 2 sheets of tissues, kitchen towels, so in case so that it doesn't get soft agad. So it's still quite lubricated, so I think we don't need to put any more. So if you're doing this and you want to flatten this, you can just pound it and spread it like this so that you can get it evenly. Thank you, Joshua Weissman, for that hat. So we just want to get it as thin as we can and to the shape that's enough to wrap around, and that's not too big for our cast iron. So this is I think thin enough and then the proper size. So let's leave it at that and start the stove. So of course the usual order. We have to heat it first before we put in the oil. I think it's around hot enough. It's almost starting to smoke. I'll just get a very thick towel so that we can hold it properly. So as long as you don't use synthetic, won't burn you. We don't want too much oil though. So if we are warm enough, we want it very hot. So if we're warm enough, we can put in the bread. This is actually traditionally done in underground oven, but we don't have that one. So let's do it first here. So it's smoking already, and we can do this. There you go. Okay, we want that bubbles right there. So that's actually the trapped air that's expanding while you're cooking. So after we get a good cook on that, you will flip and we will put butter on. Bird, 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 wag ka na pumunta dyan. Andiyan yung antena ng wifi, bird. Okay, we are getting a good expansion on that. Such a pretty bread.